No, I did not.
Oh, you good.
I thought I didn't even realize you had picked something because when I looked at it, I changed like the date and the episode number and like one other thing maybe, and I didn't even remember to like take a look at it or like pull it up or nothing. So,
Man.
but yeah, we live episode 69, Susio Sports Tail Blasters and Inplay Dogs. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I picked the wrong episode to be back.
yes, you did, my brother. So let's go
Episode
ahead. Wait, let me make
69.
sure wait, I don't have the music too loud. Let me make sure. Okay, there we go. That's at a respectable level. Let me go ahead and hit the intro music for everybody. Wait.
Baby, can you please?
That's all. Let me see the 2-0. Boys right up by the DJ. One time, sweet and go. Let me see the 2-0. Come on. Just make that 2-0. Here we go. Just make that 2-0.
Hey. Episode 69. It's only right we play the 69 boys. You feel me? Now look.
Hey, bro, that's my shit.
I picked this simply because it was the 69 boys episode 69. There was no other reason for me to pick this music.
The funniest shit is I finally was watching that Freaknik documentary yesterday. And that makes this episode and all of this hilarious.
Hey, bro. I was just because like when you type in 60, you have to be careful with what you search.
You do.
You have to be careful. So I made sure I went to YouTube to search it first because I was like, nah, I'm gonna search this in YouTube because I don't need nothing popping up in my browser history or nothing crazy like that. But yeah, man. So I was like, nah, we're gonna break out this one right here because I'm definitely not playing that by Tekashi.
I mean, we could have.
And
we could have.
But anyway, we here. Episode 69 of Susio Sports. Keyz and Jermaine is in the building. We wanted to start a little early tonight because we was both like not really like feeling it. It's just been a week, 2 weeks or whatever of like just going through it for both of us. So it's just been like, all right, you know what better way we do this than to at least get a little bit of trash talking, a little bit of noise, whatever out here, and just go ahead and do the pod, like make ourselves feel better. But yeah,
for
man,
sure.
It's
How you guys been, man? It's been a while. I be in and out. Real life is kicking my ass right now.
Life really be lifing, boy. I tell you,
life is lifing, man.
Really
I miss you guys, man.
Dog.
I be missing you guys, man. I be peeping. Jermaine been holding it down. I definitely been I definitely keep my eye on everything that's going on.
Dog, let me tell you, like I still haven't even done my my freaking my brackets yet. I was supposed to do that today, and then stuff went crazy. So
I finished mine last night. I did it while I was at work.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna probably do mine either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. Is probably when I'm gonna end up doing it. But
I might change it before it finalizes because I think it finalizes 12:15 Eastern tomorrow. So
okay.
I'm gonna look back over it just to make sure I like what I picked. Yeah. I mean, I got Duke winning. That ain't changing.
Oh well, yeah. I figured you was gonna pick Duke to win.
Yeah, I don't think, man. I don't know. Tournament time, it get weird, but I don't see no. Houston might be the only team that I can kind of see contending, but you never know. Again, it's tournament time. Anything can happen. So,
bro, let me tell you, when I gave out that stat line last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was about in the Ken Palm college basketball ratings, if you have a team that has a top 20 defense and a top 30 ranked offense, that's where your national champion typically comes from. every team that's won a national title over the last like however many years, or like a 90-something% of them, something like that, has had a top 20 defense and a top 30 offense. And as of right now, there was like, I want to say like 9 or so teams roughly in the country that met that criteria. So I was going to do, and I was telling my coworker this morning, he and I talk a lot of basketball and stuff. He's a real basketball head. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do one bracket is going to be like my nerdy research bracket. And the other one, I'm just going to pick all vibes. Like I'm just going to look, point, click, and just go through it. And I normally do one like that. That's normally how I do it. I'll just like click, pick one, and then I'll like try to do some actual research, or at least a little bit of research, and pick one.
That's why the one that we did, I made it so everybody at least could have 2 on each one. So for that exact same reason, because I know most of us we're gonna like really look at it, but then we just gonna be like, nah, these are my favorites.
Right. So that's pretty much how I'm gonna do mine. But it is tournament time. We do have the field of 68. Whoa, what the heck? I didn't realize I had the dictation thing open on my phone, and I'm just sitting here talking, and like I look down and my phone is tight. I'm like, whoa, what are we doing? But no, like we have the last playing games today. After the ass whoopings we saw yesterday, and so it's going to be down to the actual field of 64 now, and not the field of 68.
I think I want to say all of the women's ones also, it should be either tomorrow. I think theirs. Let me take a look. Yeah, most of theirs will be finished up tomorrow for theirs. So that way theirs is the round of 64. Like you said, the men's wrapped up today.
Yeah, we're about to get Texas and Xavier is the last one. They're about to tip off in another few minutes. So that's the last one, because we had North Carolina beat San Diego State.
Which was crazy that UNC, for probably the first time ever, was a play-in team.
Yep.
The fact that they even made the tournament, to me, was
that right there is. I'm glad you brought that up, so we could just dig right into it.
It's fishy.
Cause look here, brother.
But you know what's crazy? I think UNC actually can beat Ole Miss first round. And I hate UNC, so I want to see him lose, of course. Big Duke. Big Duke.
Keep it real. Let's keep it a buck.
I might have to change my pick. I might do it on my second one, but I definitely feel like they can beat Ole Miss.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. I would think so. I would think so too. I'm just looking through these rankings and seeing like the teams that got picked and whatnot.
Yeah, the matchups aren't bad.
Oh gosh,
what
was I looking for? I
don't think it was a first round matchup where I was like, because hold on, the game that come on tonight, you said it's Texas and Xavier.
Yeah, Texas and Xavier playing. They're supposed to tip off in like less than 10 minutes. Like
that's another one. Texas being a play-in.
Yep.
That's
here's the reason why
Xavier is a play-in. Like that's different this year.
Yep, I'm looking at the Ken Palm rankings, and right now, the only team in the top 45 of their rankings that did not make the tournament was Ohio State.
Wow.
Now, when you look at teams that felt like they should have made the tournament, like West Virginia, I believe, was one that made a claim, and I can't remember who the other one was that made a claim. It may have been Indiana. I'm not quite sure. But West Virginia is ranked 53rd in those rankings, and Indiana is 47th. And we look at North Carolina, who people had an issue with making the tournament, and they're ranked 33rd in those rankings. So they're actually ranked above teams like Georgia, Connecticut, Creighton, and Oklahoma, who are seated higher than they were. So it's just interesting the way the committee picks the teams and whatnot. They have their little criteria and everything, and they have their thing that they do. But ultimately, when you look at a team like, let's say, just North Carolina making it, for example, over West Virginia, because I know that was one of the things that I believe the West Virginia governor was upset about.
I would have been also,
They have a right. They have a right. However,
because UNC had a horrible year. The 3 losses to Duke alone.
They were up and down very much so this year. Up and down very much so. However, you say what you want, but the committee does have to factor in drawing power and fans that will travel, so on and so forth. As much as we may not like to admit that definitely has to be in the consideration when you're picking these teams, especially the at-large teams, because you're going to get 30 some odd conference champions that are automatically going to qualify, right? And then the other 30 teams you have to pick at large. Most of them in the beginning, you're going to get like, okay, we know these teams should make it because they're top teams. They probably got knocked out of the conference tournament, what have you. So there's going to be about 10, 15 or so, maybe 20 teams that you may feel like are going to be automatics, and then the other 10 or 15 or so are going to be debatable, right? So when you look at those bottom 10 or so teams, 8, 9, 10 teams, whatever, what you got to understand is they have a really tough job out of all these teams that they have to pick from.
Hey, Marty, I knew you were not.
You have all these teams that you have to pick from, you know what I'm saying? And it's like you have to pick the best ones. I'm going outside right now, but we're money at drawing power. That is true. Because if I'm booking it, and I'm like, if it's West Virginia and Carolina, I'm picking Carolina every single time. If everything else is even, you got to go with the ones who are going to draw money, get TV ratings, fans are going to travel, they're going to spend, so on and so forth. That
same thing like we were talking about during the college playoff when we were talking about Bama.
Exactly.
Like Bama gets in a lot of times just off of that, like you said, drawing power, because the money. And Sloan has said this so many times. It's really the money. Like, it's sad, but it's who's gonna, like you say, who's gonna bring in the TV ratings, the merch, fans are gonna travel. UNC is kind of like the same way Boston, like the Celtics are, the Lakers, the Cowboys, Steelers. They have fans all over the country, not just in certain regions. So I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. You know.
Yeah, it's like a lot of times when we see teams pick for bowl games too, not just for the playoff, but for the bowl games also. Like we'll see, like, well, you know, they have certain tie-ins or whatever, but there's just certain times where, like, you look at the tournament, man, and it's follow the money. Like we talk about. It's the American way, like Marty said. Just follow the money.
Yeah.
Another example, people were upset that New Orleans got another WrestleMania. This is their third one in the last, well, next year it'll be their third one in 12 years or 13 years or whatever.
I believe so.
They had 30, 34, and then they'll be getting 42. So it's 3 in like 13 years. But when you think about it, what's a good city to have a major event in where people can go enjoy themselves, have a good time?
And weather.
Convenient. The weather
factors
good.
In.
Right. You know,
outside menus.
Bruh, it's like there's so many. New Orleans is literally the perfect place because the convention center, Superdome, the Smoothie King Center, it's all right there downtown, right there by the French Quarter. Like,
you know where they should start? You know where they need to bring a mania to?
Where?
Mississippi.
Man, shut up.
Alabama.
What?
I don't know. I feel like we need to go to places like that, man. Let's it's just logic behind my thinking. Alabama, maybe, but you know, Tuscaloosa.
Bro, what are people gonna do for a week in Tuscaloosa?
Hey, you ever been to a Bama football game during football season?
We talking about April though.
Guess we will find out next year. Roll Tide roll, my friend. Every chance I get, I'm still, bro. I don't know. I still don't know what to say about that one. Look, my goddaughter's going to Penn State, so I just want to go to a whiteout game. I told her that we were talking on the phone today about some stuff, and I told her that I just want to go to a whiteout game. That's it.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. To me, Mania started like outgrowing the places it used to be at when they started playing nothing but football stadiums and whatnot. And the other thing is that you get a lot of like now it's such a big event that now cities are actually lobbying the WWE to come there.
Yeah, because they know the money and the attraction. Because Mania, it's the Super Bowl of wrestling. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Same thing as they lobby for the All-Star Weekend. They lobby for the Super Bowl, all of that, because they understand how much money is going to come into that city during that time. What up, Trav?
The Final Four.
Yeah, Final Four is also
is another thing that cities lobby after and whatnot, because they know the economic impact that it has. But it's just when you get a city like New Orleans, like everything is right there. Like you can literally get off the plane, get an Uber, a bus, shuttle, taxi, whatever downtown, and not need a car until you're going back to the airport.
Yeah.
What other place can you say that where everything is walking distance? There's not many places that can say that, and you're gonna have a good time, and the food is gonna be good, the weather is gonna be nice. Like you don't have to work. There is a little bit of crime you may have to worry about.
Man, you might gotta keep that. You know,
they're working on make it, but I tell you what though,
you might gotta swerve in the corner.
You might have to swerve on that corner, but look,
whoa.
During Super Bowl weekend, I talked to people who live there, people who visited in different forms. Like they either grew up there or they moved there, and they visited either visiting home or visiting because they don't live there or never lived there. And one of the things that I consistently heard was, I didn't see any homeless people. I didn't see this. I didn't see that. Blah, 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 blah. Like there was that one terror incident that was totally preventable that they should have had like under wraps. But
yeah, that was crazy.
Outside of that, like there were no huge incidents or reports. And I mean, that is something major. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay it or anything, but it's just that like the normal stuff that you would normally see and associate with New Orleans, and you did not see it on that weekend. So the city does know how to put on events, and they're well experienced in it. And there's a reason why there's called festival season, basically between spring and fall down there, because the weather is so nice, everything is cool, and it's just like there's so much to do. But looking at the tournament, get back to the tournament real quick. Like I can see roughly. I think like off the top of my head, I think I said like 5 or 6 teams that I could see actually winning it on the men's side, and about the same on the women's side. Because
what's crazy? And let me go to the women's one real quick. As I was doing my women's bracket, that was actually tough. Like because once you get down to like that Final Four, and if let me see, where's my Final Four was pretty much like all number ones. Like my Final Four ended up being USC, LSU, South Carolina, and Texas, where I had USC and LSU and then South Carolina and Texas. I actually had USC beating UConn. My toss-up kind of was that where is it at? The Michigan. Was it Notre Dame? No, it was when we got to the Elite Eight, because I had Texas against Notre Dame. It's so tough to go against Notre Dame. I love their guards, bro.
bro.
But I love Texas. Texas women's team
yeah.
is fire.
Yeah.
The other tough one, it was a couple other ones. USC and UConn, UCLA and LSU. And I picked LSU. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I'm gonna switch that back to UCLA, which would give a West Coast Final Four of UCLA and USC, South Carolina and Texas, all number one. Pretty much all the number ones making it to the Final Four.
Gotcha.
I think UConn can beat USC. I also like Oregon. Oregon is a sneaky team that I've been watching a lot this year, and I like them a lot. But I got USC taking the whole thing.
Yeah, it's bro. I'm going.
But the women's one is definitely to me more up in the air than the men's one is,
bro.
This might be the first year in a while where we really didn't. The last couple of years, we said it was either going to be LSU or South Carolina, and that was it.
Right.
Nobody else really was in there.
We had a good idea. It was like, I think the last few years, it's been like maybe like 3 or 4, maybe 5 teams on the women's side, and there's always a plethora of teams on the men's side. Like this year, I think I said it's like 8, 9, 10 teams that could potentially win it on the men's side, just judging by that statistic or whatever. But on the women's side, just using the eyeball test, it's like 4 or 5, really. Maybe at the most. But like,
which is the most it's been, even though it's that small of a number, that's still the most it's been
exactly
in the last couple of years. Like it literally was LSU, South Carolina, or Iowa the last few years. Like you didn't think anybody else outside of those 3. And last year, people gave USC a good chance to break in and make it kind of far, but it was still in UConn also. I'm sorry.
Yeah, UConn and Stanford. UConn and Stanford always.
Yeah, UCLA.
Teams. But it was like those teams were flawed just enough for you to say like, man, I don't know if I could just count them in that upper echelon with the Carolinas and the LSUs and the Iowas and whatnot. But I think this year, like you said, even though we have more a variety of women's teams who we think can still win it, it's still a small number. Now, the other thing I will say on the women's side is, normally we get at least 1 or 2 like super dominant teams every year. This year, we didn't really get the runaway like 1 loss or undefeated team or anything like that on the women's side. So we didn't get somebody that was like super dominant or anything, because that South Carolina team lost to Texas, and I think they lost a couple other teams, like 1 or 2 other teams. Texas lost to Carolina because they actually had to have a coin flip to determine who's going to be the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. LSU has been good, but they've taken a step back. UCLA has stepped up with Kiki Rice over there, and then of course Notre Dame with Hannah and Olivia in that backcourt.
Oh my God, that backcourt is the best. I'm not going to debate. That is the best backcourt in women's college. I might just say women's basketball in general. It might rival some of the WNBA right now. Like that backcourt is sick to me. Like.
They're so good, and then the way they play off of one another, because
oh my God,
we talked about
it. You never know who's gonna have you never know whose night it is.
Exactly.
It might be Olivia's night this night. The next night it might be Hannah. You might get that night where it's both of them, just depending on who they playing. Exactly. But it's like they go into it playing off each other. Like, oh, you hot? Bet we gonna keep getting it to you.
Right.
I'm gonna get the assists. I'm gonna get steals. I'm gonna play defense, but I'm gonna get mine when I get mine, but you hot. Keep going. Keep shooting.
Exactly. And it's just like we brought it up like a while back when we were talking about them. Olivia took so much pressure off of Hannah not having to be a playmaker and do everything. And she flourished herself. It wasn't just that she took a lot of the extra burden off of Hannah. She alleviated that burden by like being the type of player that would complement her as well. And they just meshed well together. Their chemistry has been crazy this year. And I really enjoy when I could watch those ladies play. And just watching Juju. Juju reminds me of Melo's freshman year at Syracuse, but it's like her sophomore year. And she's had that type of season the last 2 seasons where she's been the player on a really good team.
And she's gotten better every year.
From last year to this year, I still could pick apart like her shot selection and shooting percentage or whatever, but I see so much more development in like her defense and her rebounding and whatnot. Like in her team defense, like the help side defense, with her getting a lot of those blocks is coming from help defense. It's not her getting a block on her one-on-one defender. It's her on the help side coming over sometimes and jumping into the passing lane and whatnot, getting deflections and steals and whatnot. And so seeing that from her, I've been really, really pleased because, you know, normally you see these top flight players and you're like, are they really going to play defense? Are they really going to be unselfish? Are they really going to, you know, play that superstar role? And she's played that role very well this season.
Yeah.
But on the men's side, I think I'm going to have, like on the women's side, I already know where my struggle is going to be at. It's going to be not taking the all 4 number 1 seeds and then figuring out where some of those upsets could occur. On the men's side, I honestly tell you where my trouble is going to be. Is going to be like not trying to pick the upset because it's the fancy upset or the trend. And that's typically how I go when I look between the two brackets. On the women's side, it's like it's hard not to take all the best teams. And then on the men's side, it's hard not to get cute and pick all these stupid upsets.
Because 9 times out of 10 on the women's side, it's usually it goes exactly how it's supposed to go. Like it's not, it really is minimal on the upsets, where on the men's side, it's always higher on the upsets. So the team you think is going to win, for whatever reason, that hungrier team comes in and outplays them, outruns them, out-hustles them, makes all the shots they're supposed to make. Everything is knocking down for them perfectly. So it was a couple of those where I was a little mixed up, like in this first round. And it's always in the first round. The first round, it's just finding out who. That Louisville Creighton toss-up, in my opinion. Ole Miss, North Carolina toss-up, because North Carolina is, most people are probably going to go with Ole Miss. North Carolina making the tournament gives those young boys something, and they're gonna play. So even though it's wild to say that number 11 North Carolina is the upset over number 6 Ole Miss, but that's one of them. I got Iowa State over Lipscomb, Marquette over New Mexico, Michigan State over Bryant. Hey man, I really want to pick Norfolk State over Florida, just for you know, for shits and giggles. But that might be that game though. That's one of them, because Norfolk State has actually played amazing all year, but it's Norfolk State, so we know. UConn and Oklahoma, a toss up. Anytime that 8-9 and what was it? Yeah, the 8-9 matchup is always iffy anyway. Let's see, Memphis and Colorado State, Maryland and Grand Canyon, Missouri and Drake. I really haven't watched either one of them. That could also be one of those ones. Kansas and Arkansas, I think that's pretty much going to go the way it should. Texas, UNC Wilmington. We're at the end of the other. So we got
I see.
Yeah, Mississippi State, Baylor, Arizona and Akron. That BYU VCU matchup. Again, it might feel like hometown bias because I keep getting to that one, just like I did with the Norfolk State one. But VCU has been playing amazing basketball. And I really think they can outplay, outrun, and outgun BYU for the win. That was one of those ones that was a bit of a toss-up for me. And I did pick VCU. I definitely think they can get out of the first round. Everything else pretty much was normal. Gonzaga and Georgia is another one. Where I had Gonzaga beating Georgia. But that, again, 8-9 matchup is very tough. Yeah.
Okay, where VCU is gonna have trouble is stopping BYU's offense because their offense is so highly rated. And I know that was one of the things that when UH beat BYU earlier this year, it was like BYU had just scored like damn near 100 on somebody, and UH held them to like 60 or less. So it was crazy to see, but it just showed you how good that UH defense actually is. What's up, Dre? So
Dre.
it was one of those things, and like this is another thing me and my coworker were talking about earlier, just how talented that UH defense is, and how people had to look at that win and how they held BYU down to be like, hey, yo, like that team is for real, and this is why a lot of people think that this is Kelvin Sampson's actual best chance to win a national title is with this team, even though he doesn't have a player like he had in previous years, like a Grimes or a Shed or what have you. I love what that team is doing. I love what he's done and built that program up into. And again, it may sound like I'm being a homer as well, but it's just the fact that like I've literally watched him grow that program from like an afterthought, who the facilities and everything was awful and terrible, to like they have top-notch facilities, and guys like McDonald's All-Americans actually want to come and play there. And he's created such a culture in that program in which it elevated them quickly. And they have a style of play where, it's defense first and everything else second. And
that's how it should be, though.
Exactly, but they're playing ball the right way. You know how some people like to say they're playing the right way. They are playing the right way. They let their defense lead, and their defense turn into offense for them.
Defense in and out. That's
right.
That's all it is. You play good defense, you get back on. You get back on defense. On offense, you run the floor. As soon as the ball touches, as soon as that rebound hits that rim, and you see your man is up, bolt, you out.
Yep.
Fast break offense. It works. Like it worked for Phoenix for the longest time. I mean, but you actually have to play good defense on the other side of things, not just have a high-powered offense and that's it. So,
and see, that's the thing. I'm glad you transitioned to the NBA because we're gonna have a lot of tournaments to talk over the next couple of weeks. But
definitely.
To talk about the league, like when we see the 7 seconds or less get a shot up type of offense from these offenses that like to put the ball up, like you said, you didn't always see the defense, and so that didn't always coincide with each other. But now we're still seeing that, except the offenses are threes and frees, as they like to call it. They want a 3-point or get to the free throw line, and you see a lot of switching and things on defense. You still don't see as much zone as you thought you would see in the NBA after they made zones legal. And it's just a matter of guys are, finding a way to beat the zones and cause mismatches when you play one-on-one. So it might as well just stay playing one-on-one. It doesn't make sense. But just seeing these teams get all these shots up and whatnot, it's starting to remind me of like a lot more teams are playing that brand of basketball. Like, let's get shots up, instead of like being more judicious and focusing in on getting better shots up. They're just trying to get shots up. So it's a little weird in the league, but I do like that, guys are adjusting and we're seeing different stars and whatnot being made. I just hope and pray that the league finds like those up and coming stars that they can market around, that people will get around, because, for example, SGA is one of the leading candidates for MVP this year. And
I've seen a lot of discourse around SGA, good and bad.
Bro, that's why I brought it up.
It's that I think it's that defensive side of things that people aren't talking about, because they're saying SGA is shying away from guarding the best player on the floor. And it's tough because on offense he's killing it, but I see that, and it's like I don't know. It's tough, but he definitely should be in the discussion wholeheartedly. He should be in that discussion.
Let me tell you, if I brought Drew down here right now, he calls SGA a free throw merchant. And we was having this discussion like, I can't remember when this was. It was like within the last week or so. And him and Maddie were like, nah, he's like a free throw merchant, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but look at Giannis. Giannis gets to the free throw line just about as many times a game as SGA does.
Sure does.
He was like, well, Giannis has to. I was like, so wait a minute. How does he have to? Or whatever. I said, look at SGA. He was like, nah, but like Giannis, he's trying to, and the way he explained it, it kind of made sense. Because he was like, Giannis is a big man who just happens to have other skills. And so, you know, he's not like a real shooter or anything. So he has to try to get to the free throw line because he's trying to get to the goal.
Okay.
He was like, SGA just seems like whenever he can't get his shot off or make a certain move, he just tries to draw a foul to get to the free throw line. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll accept your explanation. I don't totally agree with everything you said, but I accept your explanation. It does make sense. It makes some sense. But here's another thing.
Jesus Christ.
It's been hitting me too, dog. Trust me. Don't feel
man. Bad. It's been a long day.
It has. It really has. But like one thing I will say, this is where guys like James Harden, and to a certain extent, like guys like LeBron, Luka, and players like that have changed the game over the years to draw the fouls in order to get to the line, and the exaggerated motions and flopping and whatnot. Like that's been in the game since, you know, the 90s, the early 90s. And Vlade Divac was one of the first to like perfect it. Him and some others. So you can't say that this is new. It's been in the game for decades now. It's just that guys have actually worked on it and perfected it to the point where they can make it a part of their game. And I think that's the part that people have a problem with. It's not that guys are drawing fouls and getting to the line. It's the fact that the exaggerated motions and flopping and whatnot has become a part of their, like that's in their that's a part of their bag, basically. And I think that's the part where people like Drew and Matt, like people like that, have an issue with it. It's because it's a part of their game and it's not just something that they do naturally. But I mean, I personally think that Jokic should still be the MVP. I don't care if it's Shea's turn or whatever else. Just like people said it was Josh Allen's turn and this, that, and the third. Hey, we got exactly 69 viewers right now.
This is hilarious. 69
viewers. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us. We really do.
All 69 of you.
God dang it. Who just look, as soon as I said 69, we went up to 71. But anyway, man, it's just I feel as though like that part of the game has changed as well as like the 3-point line and different things like that. There's just different aspects of the game that have changed over the years. And we just have to be accepting of it, you know. And I come from the era of basketball when I still watch like Michael and Larry and Magic and, you know, Patrick Ewing and Hakeem Olajuwon and you know, all those greats and whatnot, you know, early Shaq and early Kobe before they really blew up and things like that. And the handoff between the generations and whatnot, I've been able to see several times. And so being as old and as wise as I am and soaking up as much of the game as I have, it's honestly, we just got to roll with the punches. We can't expect things to always stay the same. It's just like in the NFL. Like you used to see 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And teams would just grind you out, you know? And now, even though offensive linemen, you're considered small if you're only 300 pounds. Like they got whole lines that average 330, 340 now. And
they're quick and fast and
bro,
coming off the line just as quick and fast as the D lineman.
Bro.
And they're getting smaller.
Yes, it's crazy because you used to see defensive ends wouldn't be no less than like 260, 255 or so at the lightest. Now you're seeing 240, 445 pound rush ins. You know, like it's
6'6",
nothing.
6'7", 230, 235. Like,
I believe the last one that was long and lanky like that I could remember was Leonard Floyd when he was coming out of Georgia. I believe he was like 6'6", like right at 240 roughly. He looked like a NBA wing, is what he really looked like. He didn't look like a pass rusher. But Leonard Floyd's been in the league, I think, like 10, 11 years now.
I believe so.
Bruh, like he's carved a career out of being this long, lanky edge rusher. And I remember back, even before that, Jason Taylor. Jason Taylor's a Hall of Famer now.
Yeah, he always was the same. He wasn't a big guy.
He was the original long, lanky, like quick edge rusher. To me, he was one of the originals.
Chris Long.
He was a little bit bigger, but I'm still like you still see like the long limbs. You know what I'm saying?
But he wasn't really a big dude. He might have muscle wise, he might have been a little jacked.
Yeah.
But he was still of that Jason Taylor type of like long, lanky, where you're not getting the typical big husky lineman. So,
and I've seen teams that go like kind of like the opposite or whatever. Like like when you get a freak of an athlete, perfect example of what's his name? Chris Jones. Chris can play inside or outside. It don't matter where they play him. He is 310, 315 pounds of destruction coming from wherever you're coming from. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna ban you from my Twitter, Clarence, for harassing me. They ain't gonna do nothing about it, so we ain't gonna worry about it. But yeah, no, I gotta represent for the tall, long, lanky people, bro. I gotta represent. Like everybody 6'4" and above, like that's who I rep for. Somebody got to rep for us because y'all average size and regular size people get on our damn nerves. Anyway, I ain't even gonna start no rant right now, but I just love the fact that you see those type of guys. What up, Randy from Backstage Brawl? You see those type of guys in the league now, and it's normal. And now we're even getting more like situational guys where they'll bring in a guy or draft a guy just for pass rush situations. And so we're seeing different size defensive linemen. Offensive linemen are getting bigger, stronger, and more athletic as well. Same thing with defensive linemen. They're getting bigger, stronger, more athletic, but there's also like that other end, like we just talked about, the smaller, quicker guys who may not have that bulk or that strength or be like this 280, 90-pound defensive end. It could be like 240, 250, but they're still getting the job done because I've also seen those guys like set the edge and help stop the run with their speed and quickness. So it's a lot of things at play there. And that's one of the things that going into the draft that I think we're going to need to look at because there's going to be a run on certain positions. And like I was explaining before, when you see a run on certain positions, either look for teams to A, get in a panic and trade up and try to grab one of those guys, or B, you'll see a team who's like, okay, they're drafting defensive tackles right now. We really need a guard or a corner or a safety or whatever. This guy's still on the board, whereas we thought this team was going to take, a DB. They took a D lineman. We need to take this DB before one of these other teams have a bright idea to like, hey, let's move up in front of them because we know they need DBs. Like I've seen that kind of stuff develop over the years. And I remember, it was somebody. I think it was when the Eagles jumped in front of the Texans to get Jalen Carter or something like that. It was something like that in one of these last few drafts where I saw a team leapfrog another team and grab a guy that I see it all the time in the later.
It was us leapfrogging the Giants or the Cowboys for Jalen Carter, and then they took Micah or whatever draft that was where Dallas had got Micah. Yeah. We jumped them to take. I want to say it was Jalen Carter, wasn't it?
I think it was. I just remember the Eagles jumped in front of. Let me try to look it up right quick because I remember the Eagles jumped in front of a couple of teams that were potentially looking at Carter to draft him.
22 draft.
Let's see.
Was it 22?
I think so. Hold on, I'm about to pull it up
Let
right
me
now.
see. Picks by round.
23. I got it right here. Let me go. Where was? Okay, here it goes.
Yeah, because we took Jordan Davis at 13, so it wasn't that one. So it was 23.
It was
right?
Jordan Davis. It was the year they drafted Jordan. That's who it was. Let me go back because I think it's the 22 draft, right?
That was
Let me see.
22. Let me
Yes,
look at 20.
that was it. That was it. Because I remember the Texans were at 15 and they ended up drafting Kenyon Green. And a lot of Texans fans were hard up for Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame.
No, so it was 20. It was also 21. We jumped everybody to take Devontae Smith, and it kind of messed up because we traded with I forgot who we traded with.
Y'all did
but
it 2 drafts in a row.
That's what it was. We traded with Dallas actually. So Dallas moved back to 12 and took Micah. We jumped up to take Devontae, but I remember because that was the same draft where I said it still fell in place for everybody because Justin Fields still went to the Bears. Mac Jones still fell to the Patriots like I said he would. And I think that was everybody still ended up with their quarterback that they wanted because Zach Wilson and Trey Lance still went quarterback still went 1, 2, 3 because it was Trevor Lawrence, Zach, and then Trey
Lance, yep.
And then Kyle Pitts went 4.
Wait, the thing that really reminded me about this draft was when I saw Chase and Waddle go back to back at 5 and 6. And then Detroit took Sewell. The Panthers took Horn. Broncos took Surtain back to back. And I was like, oh shit. So when I see the move with Eagles and Dallas, I'm like, well, who the hell the Eagles taking? And when I saw Devontae Smith, I was like, oh snap.
Because that made the Bears jump up also because they traded with the Giants. It was literally Eagles, Giants, Dallas.
Yep.
Or Dallas, Giants, Eagles.
And
then we traded with Dallas. The Bears traded with the Giants.
Yep.
So that way they could get Justin Fields.
Bro, it was 2 drafts in a row because I remember there were some Texans fans who were not happy that Jordan Davis and Kyle Hamilton went on the 2 picks right before them.
And it was funny because the Giants moved back to 20 to take Kadarius Toney. Horrible fucking pick.
He was traded with Texans. Yeah, Dre. That's what I was just talking. I was just late getting back to the comment screen, Dre.
It was the Eagles trading with the.
Yeah, he was talking.
It's 23
when they swapped. Yeah, because he remembers because even though he's a Cowboys fan, we all live here in Houston, bro. People were pissed that the Texans traded back, lost out on Davis and Hamilton, and then the guy that they picked, trash. Kenyon Green just couldn't cut it here. Local product from Humble, went to A&M and everything, got drafted by the Texans. Everybody thought that he was going to be one of those guys
I see
anchor that offensive line. The good thing is that they traded him to Philly for CJ Gardner-Johnson because they desperately needed DB depth in that secondary. And when they were able to turn Green into CJ, I was like, this is a fucking stroke of genius by Nick Caserio. Stroke of genius. Because he turned a guy that they were gonna cut him. They were definitely gonna cut him this offseason. He was not coming back to that team. No way.
And I mean, we needed that help on the line since we lost Makai. So I mean, it made sense.
And the thing is, with their power,
I'm so hurt about that.
With that run game, bro, that the Eagles like to run, Kenyon Green is a much better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. He is a turnstile as a pass blocker, but the boy can run block pretty well. I think that playing next to other vets and stuff like that, those guys in that coaching scheme that they like to run there, I think that'll be more beneficial to his skill set. I think that they'll be able to get something out of it. What they're going to do from there is anybody's guess. I just know whenever you have certain players on your team that you need to retain, bring back, or what have you, and they're taking up a chunk of that salary cap, there's only so much you can do. and you have to spread your resources thin in other areas, and you may have to like pick up guys from here, there, wherever. But it's just one of those things where I really feel like people can truly I think he can truly thrive in that system. But it's just Howie's been pretty smart about building that team and moving and removing pieces around. As has like Nick Casario with the Texans.
And I like what Howie's doing with the whole
even,
like getting younger and
yes.
using the younger, because the younger players stepped up so major last season for the Super Bowl win. But I also think the vets had a lot to do with that. So it was a give and take with both, where he feels very confident in
Brett Veach,
what we have
for the Chiefs. That was, I couldn't think of his name. Brett Veach. Les Snead has done a pretty good job with the Rams because he's been retooling that team and trying to get them back in play.
So, I like a lot of their moves this offseason so far.
John Lynch has done a good job with the 49ers. Like it's not Ozzie Newsome anymore. I think he has, because they've been able to keep that team competitive.
I guess.
I mean, if you can keep that team going and you have major changes at the quarterback,
I mean, outside of injuries affected them a lot last season.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I give them that. They still a fucking joke, but I mean that's just
man. And who else is it, man? DaCosta, Eric DaCosta in Baltimore. Yeah. He's another one that's been able to keep it.
Yeah. I like their all season so far.
Bruh, like
I really like their all season. That DeAndre Hopkins pickup,
big time.
I think it's gonna pan out better than it did with him going to the Chiefs. Chiefs had too many weapons. Even though they had a lot of players hurt, they still had too much, and he kind of got lost and drowned. Where Baltimore doesn't have a lot, so it makes it easy for him to hide and be kind of incognito. So black.
You say the right word, huh?
Right. But it makes him be able to stand out because he doesn't have to be so big in that scheme, that situation. So,
man, let me tell you, bro. I just feel like, man, that team,
Baltimore could be something crazy. They could.
They can. I feel the opposite. I think that there's going to be more attention paid to Hopkins because outside of Zay Flowers, who's the other big time like
receiver?
You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
That's why I think that I just feel like he may not. And the other thing is, D-Hop hasn't been able to create that separation like he used to as these guys. He have to rely on his physicality more often.
I think Bateman stepped up big time.
Okay, you know what? You're right. Bateman did. But let's just be honest. Does Bateman and Flowers really strike that much fear in an opposing defense to where they feel like we have to one or both of those guys? No.
And they really want I know from a couple Baltimore fans, I know Devontae Walker is somebody that they really like, that they want to step up. But outside of that, I'm looking at the rest of the wide receiver room. I mean, of course, you got Mark Andrews still there.
Yeah.
For now. You still got Isaiah Likely. So, and Likely is like in that hybrid tight end wide receiver position also. So, I mean, they got the receivers. It's just what's to be done with them, or who's going to step up more or less.
Right. And speaking of receivers, the Cincinnati Bengals,
those boys got paid,
bruh. They pulled off some Madden level type
for both of them.
Both of them, dog. Like
plus the QB got paid already. Plus a couple defensive players that got paid. Boy, I tried to tell you, like, I don't be looking at that salary cap stuff. That sounds good, but
listen.
If I want you and I want you to stay, we gonna figure this out.
But listen, this is why I say you don't really know what's going on until you see teams put it into action because they could have very well retained Hayes
That's a good question there. Oh.
and spread that money out elsewhere, right? Let me see.
Uh-huh.
Question on the board. Serious question. Are the Bengals the new? Whoa.
Every year they look good. Every year everybody expects for them to make the playoffs, to go deep into the playoffs, to make the Super Bowl, to win it. Their fans are starting to call for them to Super Bowl contenders. I don't want to say they're the new Cowboys because they're making the playoff. Like everything I just said, they're making the playoffs. They're getting in. They've made Super Bowls within the last like 5, I think it was when they went. It's been 5 years now, 6 maybe. Cowboys ain't did that since 96 season. So
yeah,
I can't fully say that because the Cowboys can't even get to the first round or get out of the first round. So
but
the Cowboys are the new Cowboys.
Here okay. NFC East beef aside, I see where he's going with this. 5 years or so. Yeah, it's been 5. Yeah, it's been about that long. But I just say because
contractually. As far as like overpaying players or just spending too much. Well, I'm gonna be honest. If I'm the Bengals, I don't think they overpaid for those two brothers. They're a beautiful 1-2 tandem to go along with the quarterback. The way, and I hate to say this, and I think Saquon and them are trying to change that, but running backs really do come dime a dozen. You can kind of almost plug and play running backs nowadays. So you really do not have to reach and overpay for a running back. But I feel like they did have to pay them to keep those two together. Like they had to.
My thing is I feel as though they could have used the money that they spent on T. Higgins and given some of that to Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Served because
they sacrifice that defense a lot.
Right. You can find another like, big body or whatever wide receiver. Pass rushers, especially good quality defensive ends, they're hard to come by. And one thing that I do know, they do need to start protecting Joe Shiesty in order to keep him upright, in order to let those two receivers be worth the money that they got paid.
Yes, they do.
But real quick, I just wanted to highlight that not only for the breaking news that it was, and it just seemed like something out of Madden, because you don't typically see a team pay two players top end money at the same
on the same day at that.
Like, so shout out to the fam, like literally the fam, cuz over there and them at Alliance Sports for making both of them deals happen. That's why I wanted to make sure I put up the tweet and everything, because that's because Alliance Sports standing on business. Like, and that's literally my cousin, and he's an agent, and our older cousin Rocky Arsenal has been an agent in the game for a while, and now Matt and I believe Vernon also works for him as well. So it's literally a family affair. But I
love it.
And I'm not just saying that because that's family. I'm saying that because they've been at this for a while, and they've been at the top of their game for a while. And when you start off with a Marshall Faulk, and because their parents, have a relationship or whatever, and they started off there and built this into something like very substantial. Like, they're good agents. Their whole organization is built towards maximizing their guys' earning potential on and off the field or court. And they really do what they say, and they stand on business, like he said. I couldn't be more proud to say that is my family or whatever, but also just the fact that they were able to pull something like this off that we've never seen before.
Yeah, say like two high-paying non-QB player contracts. Like, they reset the market big time. So I feel bad for us when it's time to pay AJ and Devontae. because of what they just did. Like
brother.
anybody, it like the Lions. The Lions got two. They got 2 wide receivers up there that's gonna want some big money soon. That feel like they're better. Minnesota got 2 up there now. Even though Jetta's just got paid. They young boy Addison coming up soon,
bruh.
Addison, he's worth it,
bruh. Let me tell you,
worth it.
Remember we were talking about this just this past football season, like how well he ended up. Because at first I was like, why isn't Addison stepping? And then he started stepping up, and I had to eat my words. I was like, you know what, bro, y'all right. He is stepping up. I spoke too soon.
Like they got everybody. I gonna say everybody, but they definitely got a nice little 1-2 down in
for sure.
Down in Tampa. Tampa got a nice little 1-2 down there. Like,
bro,
Mike Evans and
Godwin
and Evans definitely 1,000 yards every season since he's been in the league, consistent.
Bruh. I mean, to me, when they call him one of the most underrated receivers of this era, all time, whatever, it's crazy. But if you think about it, when we talk about the best receivers in the game over the last 5 to 10 years, how often do people really mention Mike Evans at the top of that list?
I do, but a lot of people don't. Mike Evans is a name.
That's what I'm saying.
Here, and everybody says that because they be like, "Well, look who he played for. Look at the record."
No,
we ain't even talking about that. We talking about at the receiver position.
Production.
We're looking at production. We're looking at catches.
We're
looking at touchdowns, yards, yak, all of that. Mike Evans, he's been him, and he's not talked about enough because of the team he's playing on in their win-loss. Exactly. But he has been more consistent than a lot of those top receivers have been.
Thank you. And trust me, as hard as this is for me as a Saints fan to say that, especially how him and Marshawn Lattimore used to get into it the last few years, like it's hard for me to give a fellow team in the AFC South props. But when I put on my media hat and I take off my fan hat, the nigga good. He's just that fucking good, and he's consistently good. And one of the things that I love about Mike Evans the most is going to be something that not a lot of people are going to point out. He's going to run his routes, whether the ball is coming to him or not. I mean, it mostly does, but he still completes his routes.
Doesn't take a playoff
to him. Exactly. And he blocks his ass off in the run game. Like receivers blocking on the outside are, to me, in my opinion, this is just me, are just as almost more important to especially the outside runs as the offensive linemen themselves.
Yeah.
Because if them receivers don't block on that outside and them DBs can just crash down, it don't matter if your running back is Derrick Henry and he can run him over. That's just an extra defender that he has to try to get to before he can get to the second or third level.
Yep.
So when you got a receiver that can block on the outside like that and open up those outside run lanes for those running backs and whatnot, it makes it that much easier. And
Saquon's season was the way it was because AJ on the outside, even Devontae on the inside. Sometimes Devontae on the outside, Dallas Goedert on the inside, or depending on where you may have lined Dallas Goedert up at. So same thing, like a good blocking wide receiver is just as important as your O lineman.
Bro, you took it right out of you said it before I could even verbalize it, because Saquon was exactly the example that I was going to give. And if you look at all of his long runs in the playoffs and during the regular season,
that first one against Washington,
outside, bro, come on, man.
That first one against Washington,
bruh,
oh my God,
the DB disappeared. That corner disappeared because AJ had him on click clack.
Boy, and he had him broke on it. He hit that little smooth spin off and pew.
House call. Paging Dr. Barkley.
I knew that. I already knew we were winning the Super Bowl, but that game, that solidified it for me. I wasn't worried about who won on the AFC side.
That's another reason why I like them receivers in Detroit, because Amon-Ra St. Brown,
I love him.
Laporta, the tight end, and the other little fast receiver that they got from
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams, bro. Like, he ain't the biggest or the best blocker, but he's at least a willing blocker. And
as much as I hate those little 5'9" receivers, and I do, because I refuse. I ain't gonna lie to y'all on NCAA. I refuse to recruit any of them, bro. It's 6 feet and up. I don't like you little niggas. Like, but they're very key, like to your offense. I just really hate little receivers, like a 5'9" receiver. That don't even make sense to me. I also don't like short corners. All of my corners got to be 6 and up. Like,
let me tell you something. When I was in the weeds in it, I would Detroit beat Miami just now. They like came back because they was down by like they was down by like 2 or 3, and then tied it, and then I think Cunningham just hit a game winner. Like because I was into this and I had the game on the big TV right over there.
When we done with this and we get to the NBA, I got some stuff with that one because
we gonna circle back to the NBA because we kind of got off of it because we started talking football. But like to me, my philosophy always was if I'm gonna get a smaller receiver or corner, they have to have some sort of specialty that I'm looking for. Getting that, 5'9", 5'10" guy. Like you got to be either like a stupid good route runner, or you got to have blazing speed if you're a receiver. If you're a corner, or even worse, a safety, you have to be a bowling ball like Troy Polamalu, Bob Sanders type of knockout artist, or you have to be like basically a converted corner who can cover his ass off from the safety position.
Yeah.
So basically like a hybrid, almost like a nickelback. Like the guys in the nickel in the slots, I don't mind if they're a little bit shorter because I need them for their short area quickness and for you to like just get in there and be there. The guys on the outside are who I'm more worried about because of the jump ball situation. So it's like as long as you got some sort of quality or trait that I feel like I can use with the smaller stature, fine. I just have to put you in situationally. Now, there was a time when I remember drafting this one like corner. He was like 5'10", like 180 or so pounds. But he had like 95, 96 speed. So he could run with everybody and he could jump. So when I saw that speed and I saw how high he could jump, I was like, okay, cool. I could work with that. He may be shorter than what I want for a boundary corner, but he has the speed and the athleticism to keep up and to jump with him with the jump ball. So cool, we can make this work. But nah, man, it's just getting back to like just the way the league has been going and the way, like I always tell people, look out in free agency and in the draft. Don't be surprised anymore when teams may double up on something because they sign a free agent at a particular position does not prevent them from drafting someone at that position as well. So, for example, if your team like signed a big time free agent, they maybe spent big money on it. Look at the length of that contract, number one. Number two, look at where the guarantees are, so that way you know when that player could potentially be cut. And then look at what round or what position they pick that person in and how well that person plays. Because I kid you not, if I go out and I give, let's just say, a veteran wide receiver 2 years, 45 million, right? But I draft this guy out of bumfuck state in the 4th round, and he ends up being pretty damn good. I can get rid of this high-paying guy because I can build around
confidently,
and then I have other players who I can, build other positions around or what have you.
Let me tell you who's been the king of that lately, and it's no bias, but Howie has been the king of that lately, where it's made it so easy for some of those higher paid vets to just be expendable because those younger pieces that he drafted are panning out.
This is why I told Eagle. That's why I was trying to tell y'all when they got rid of Slay and everybody was so pissed off. Oh no, they're gonna bring him back, bro.
Slay wanted to leave anyway.
What the rookies did. Look at what those rookies did. I can have the same production from cheaper, but the guy that I actually had in mind when I was talking about that, the exact scenario was the fucking Rams. The Rams drafted Puka Nacua, right?
Oh, letting Cup
they
go.
already had Cup, but they were like, Cup ain't really like he ain't really getting it done for us. We don't want to pay him the kind of money that we're paying.
And then he started getting injured, and
exactly.
Seattle saw it, and Seattle sees something in him, though. I mean, they gave him a little bag.
And here's the thing: when they have Jackson Smith and Jigba up there
with
the Cooper Cup, and then they may add something in the draft or what have you, or let's say one of those other guys hopefully steps up on that roster behind those two guys and Jigba and Cup, then you can work with that. And you got Darnold, who's proven like, hey, I can do this. You know, I'm not a fucking scrub. I'm an NFL quarterback. It's just what level am I? Y'all got to figure that out. But
I'm interested to see what he does with this team because of what he did with Minnesota.
Right. But like the thing,
different makeup of the team, but not too different.
But you have two receivers on the outside that you can work with. You have a
good
running game
Yep.
developing and whatnot. They need a trigger man, and you know they're always working on that defensive side of the ball. But the reason why I brought up the Rams is because most people will see, well, why would they sign Devontae Adams, a veteran wide receiver, to the 2 years, 40 whatever million, and they got rid of Cooper Kupp? If you look at it, Devontae's been healthy pretty much over the last few years, whereas
he's just been on bad teams.
Right. And I want to say they were still ranked, like both of them were ranked like top 5, top 10 as far as like separation or whatever that advanced statistic about separation is. Devontae Adams was ranked a little bit higher than Kupp, but they were both like within the same range of each other. I want to say both were like top 10, top 5, whatever, but Devontae was a bit higher. However, Devontae's been more healthy and been more consistent the last couple of years than Kupp has.
And
so
even on bad teams, he still put up good numbers. So and he's able to take plays off that have preserved him.
Right. So if I'm going to pay a veteran receiver that kind of money, I want to get the health and the production out of him. And even though we don't know him like we know Kupp, we know he can learn the system. We know he can adapt. We know the dude is a killer of a route runner and can get open. So it's like Les Snead has found a way to say, hey, I'm not necessarily going to rob Peter to pay Paul, but I'm going to figure out how to interchange these pieces and keep this team as competitive as I could keep them. And that's why I named him as one of those GMs that's been able to keep the thing going as opposed to the starting and stopping. But definitely Les Snead, Howie, Brett Veach, DeCosta in Baltimore. Casario in Houston is building something. I have to see if he can build it and keep it consistent, but he's working on it.
He's drafted very well.
Yeah.
Like the last couple of drafts also have been great. Good free agent pickups, good trades to bring in people. I wish I could have kept Stephon.
Well, here's the thing with when you have a 31, 32-year-old receiver coming off an ACL injury, mid-season, it's like I think they wanted to bring him back, but the number that they wanted to bring him back at, I think it would have been a slap in the face to him or whatever. He probably wouldn't have accepted the deal. And he probably was going to want 2 years, and they probably only wanted to give him 1. So you bring in a Christian Kirk who can do similar things. Not saying that he's just as good, but I mean, he can do similar things. But you think about it, if you put Kirk on this team where you have a good quarterback and they're trying to reshuffle the line and you got a Nico Collins already out there, like that helps you. So I'm just going to be interested to see what they can do and what they can put together. But I'm also interested in seeing what a healthy 49ers team looks like. I'm also interested in seeing what the Bills are going to look like now, especially since they've added Joey Bosa.
That was a nice little pickup.
Bro, that they lost Von Miller and added Joey Bosa.
Step up.
This is like, come on. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, you was like, all right, we're gonna take this from you, but you're gonna get this instead. It's like, hey, thank you.
Hey, that Cade Cunningham shot, I'm looking at it. It was definitely a Hail Mary throw up.
Bro, let me tell you something. That dude.
That was luck of. That was brother. I don't know if you looked at the shot. That was very much luck. It won't even like swish. It was like off the backboard, hit like the tip of the rim, and then came back.
Okay,
it was like some luck of the Irish.
I kind of like I was trying to watch the replay, but I was doing something here on the screen or whatever. So I kind of saw I barely saw the shot live, and then I missed it like out the replay at the corner of my eye. But what I was getting at was coming back to the NBA. It's not that I wasn't gonna say anything about the shot because I knew it was kind of a crazy shot. But he's coming into his own.
Oh yeah.
And that team is putting something together.
They could be dangerous in another year or two. They could be that OKC of the East.
Let me tell you something. Bernie Bickerstaff should be NBA Coach of the Year for what he has done in Detroit. And I will stand on that. And I will die on that hill because
I agree with you.
that brother took that team from winning like 14 games. I want to say it was 14 games last year, right? And this year, the Pistons have 39 wins. Bro, we talking about a team that has 39 wins, and last year, yeah, they only won 14. They win 3 more games this year, they will have tripled their win total from last year. If
And they're for sure going to get 3 more.
Bro, if that ain't the NBA Coach of the Year, who the fuck is?
They're for sure going to get at least 3 or 4 more wins. So,
Bruh, if Bernie Bickerstaff don't win Coach of the Year, I might have to send one of them sternly worded emails to somebody or something. Fire off. I don't know.
Between him and JJ, and that might be biased just being a Laker fan, but I love what JJ. I love what JJ been doing too, man.
No, don't get me wrong. JJ has really done a job there because the Lakers they were 47-35 last year and made the play-in as the first play-in team, right? As of right now, they are the 4 seed in the West, and they're only a game and a half out of the 2 seed in the West. They had the 2 seed, but the Rockets went on an 8-game win streak and got the 2 seed back. The Lakers are on a 2-game win streak because they're 6-4 in their last 10. But the Rockets were sliding and the Lakers were ascending, so the Lakers had went up there and grabbed that 2 seed, and the Nuggets have just been hanging out like at that 3 seed this whole time while all these other teams go up and down, fighting over that 2, the 4, the 5 seed or whatever. Like the Nuggets have been there the whole time, like the 2 or the 3 seed this whole season just about. But it's just fun, man, seeing all these different teams. And remember, it was just like last year when we talked about the NBA playoffs. I thought that some of those veteran teams were going to knock out some of those younger teams, and it didn't always happen like that. Now we see these teams have reshifted, and the Lakers, they still have the vets and everything, but they got younger vets with Luka as opposed to AD. You still got the old man. But, I mean, you exchange one superstar vet for another one who's like 7 years younger.
It's just crazy that your 25-year-old player is a vet.
Bro, but Luka been in the league 6 years, 7 years now. So it's like
it was like 19 when he came in.
Yeah. So it's just you exchange superstar veterans, but you somehow got younger. And
better.
Yes. It's in the way. Remember when we said they still need a big, they needed a big before they traded AD. They really needed a big after they traded him. They made a trade for one, the trade got rescinded. And somehow they still ended up better anyway. Like, I'm sorry, but we're going to need a 30 for 30 in like 10 or 15 years or so, maybe 20. Give it a little time to breathe because I know Mavs fans are pissed. But I'm going to need a 30 for 30 about that whole trade, the fallout, and where it ends up. Because, good Lord.
Is Nico still in hiding? Indy stole one from Dallas tonight too.
Oh, you know what? I wasn't. Hold up. Let me open up the whole scoreboard so I can see it because I'm only looking at the scroll at the top of the screen. Let me look at the whole scoreboard. What the hell? The Pelicans got a 2-point lead over the Timberwolves with 2 minutes left.
Oh, the Lakers should win easy tonight. Jokic and Murray are both out with ankle injuries.
Bro, you know, I was looking at that. I got that game on the TV, and I was like, something looks weird about this game. I couldn't figure out what the hell it was.
They just pulled Jokic because I had him on my prize picks for something, or I was going to pick him, and I remember seeing him, and then it refreshed, and he was gone. So I assumed when is Hachimura going to hit his potential? I think he has.
Okay, so
I think he has.
Bro, what the hell is up with the Knicks lately? I know Brunson is hurt, but god damn. They 6-4 in their last 10. It just feels like the Knicks have been. Every time I look up, the Knicks they getting their ass whipped.
Yeah, that's about right.
To me, I think he's doing okay. Because they want him as a spot up 3-point shooter, more for his defense and rebounding and whatnot. So he's filling a role on that team that they need him to fill, like playing that small ball 4 or 5 type of position that they have him playing sometimes. So I think that honestly, I think you would see a different Hachimura if they had another big or two on that team.
Because last year playing with AD, I think he played what we saw a lot more of what we got from him in Washington. But you got to remember, he was a big. I don't even know how to even say that one, but playing on Washington allowed him to open up more. To where playing on the Lakers, it hurts you in a sense because you're playing with Bron and AD, where we want you to step up. But Bron and AD command so much of everything offensively, it's hard to step up, in my opinion, at least. This year, I think it's been better where players are like, nah, we got to go get ours. Where you're seeing the Austin Reeves going crazy. You're seeing Dalton Connect on certain nights is going crazy. I think the funniest thing I seen was Gil talking about when they have them on the floor at the same time, Dalton Connect and Bronny, where it's supposed to be get Bronny the ball, but Dalton Connect be like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. Get the fuck up. I'm getting mine. I'm shooting this bitch.
Bro, let me tell you, I don't even think it'd be like that though. But like people they're gonna always touch on that Bronny factor because it's a hot topic and it gets the interactions and stuff like that. But it's like when I be watching him when he's on the floor with the main team, it looks like he's just out there and it's like, okay, I'm out here. I'm just gonna play my role. I'm gonna make the extra pass, play defense. Like I'm just trying to learn the game and just whatever. And I think that
nepotism, boy.
I think that he's just trying to like I'm just trying to be here. I'm just trying to do my job and put my head down and go home. And
so did you talk about Stephen A last week? Or was that after? No, that happened after the pod. Or was it before? No, it was after. I think it was after.
Only thing I remember was here's my take on all of that, right?
And that's what I was going to ask.
I'm glad since you brought it up.
How do you feel? How do you feel as a father from the Bron standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a media analyst from the Stephen A side.
Okay. So honestly, and I'll start with Stephen A side, just the media side of it. Like as a member of the media, somebody that you have a responsibility to your employer and to your audience to provide content, and he gets paid for his opinions. He does not get paid to break news or anything like that. He gets paid for his opinions, right? So that means he gets paid to not to inform, but to entertain. So you have to look at it like I'm paid for my opinions and what I think, and for me to analyze a situation, team, game, whatever it is, roster's decision, and say what I think about this, right? Bronny's on an NBA team. His dad is considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest, arguably, however you feel. I'm not going one way or the other because my GOAT is different from everybody's. Mine too. One of the greatest players of all time. He pulled the power move to get his son on the team. So if I'm going to criticize something, this is just me personally as a media person, right? I'm going to criticize his game, how he plays, minutes that he may get, what have you. I'm going to criticize the basketball aspect of it. I'm not going to criticize the fatherhood relationship aspect of it because I also have kids. So I'm going to make sure if I have a criticism of Bronny, it's something because of Bronny. I'm not going to loop LeBron into my criticism about Bronny. That is where LeBron the father stepped in at, because he felt that Stephen A was using him as a father to set up criticism of his son.
Mm-hmm.
That's where me as a dad, I got a problem with that, because you can't sit up here and tell me I shouldn't have done this for my son, or you put him in this position, or what have you, because any father would do the exact, any good quality father who has that power, who's worth their weight in gold, you're gonna say, hey, do something for my kid. No matter what level you at, you're gonna exert whatever power, influence, or whatever it is to help your kids. If you truly love and care about your kids and you're trying to be that kind of dad, you're gonna do whatever it is for your kids. I would not have confronted him while the game was still going on.
It would have definitely been in the tunnel, or I would have had somebody go get him, bring him to the tunnel, or bring him to the back, or we could have talked parking lot. There definitely still was the conversation, because as a father, and you attacking who I am as a father and a man, I may not like LeBron, the basketball player, right? That's just me personally. I've never been a fan of LeBron. Him coming to the Lakers and putting that jersey on didn't change it for me. But as a man and as a father, I do respect what he's done and who he is. Like, he's about to have 2 sons in the league. You know what I mean? Right. Bryce is for sure on his way after his freshman year, maybe. But regardless, he's definitely going to be in the league. Oh yeah, because he couldn't act out. He couldn't act out.
And the other thing
now,
is,
the other part,
he had real quick. But he had just signed that 5-year, $100 million extension. That news had dropped like that day, or the day before, whatever.
Now I'm gonna tell you what he bitched out at. Going on Gil podcast and everything he said there, I feel like was the bitch move. I feel like what he said on his own podcast was the bitch move. Because now you're pulling the Stephen A. the entertainer a little bit. And at that point, I'm still Bron the father. And we didn't have this conversation in person. So that's how you want to handle it now afterwards? Bet. So I'm going to handle it the way I got to handle it as a man and a father now. That's just me. But, you know what I mean? But also on the flip, you got to understand, you got your son into this position by him being in the league. He got to be able to take any and all criticism the same way you did from Skip and all those other people from all those years. And you had tough skin. You got to teach your son now how to have tough skin in that same way, because now he's under the microscope of being LeBron James' son in the NBA. There's no, you know why Jordan kids ain't make it to the NBA? Because they didn't want to make it. Because Marcus won't bad. Marcus actually was very good at UCF. Marcus could have made it in the league. Marcus chose a different route because he realized, nigga, if I go to the league, I am Michael Jordan's son in the NBA.
Well, not just that, but it's like a lot of the times, like I know, personally speaking, tying this back into Kelvin Sampson and to family, I had some homeboys that went to high school with Hollis Price and Quantus White that played at Oklahoma for Kelvin Sampson, right?
Okay, I remember them.
At St. Aug down in New Orleans. My cousin also knows Hollis and Quantus because his homeboy, who's a coach now at Texas State, shout out to Coach Terrence Johnson at Texas State. Shout out to TJ, been knowing TJ for decades. But TJ knew them and my cousin knew them because they used to cut their hair or coach with them or play with them, whatever. When Hollis left, I think Hollis had a shot at the league, didn't really make it, but he was very successful overseas. I think Quantus went over there and played for a little while, but I know Hollis went over there and played for like a number of years. Came back over here and laid up and retired, and he's been doing pretty good for himself, I think, business-wise. Last time I think they talked to him or I remember them saying something about him. But Hollis knew, like, hey, there's only so far I'm gonna go as far as this NBA dream is concerned. However, the dream of professional basketball is still there for me. I still want to pursue it. I'm gonna go and pursue this. Marcus probably could have went overseas and played ball and made decent money. But he realized if I stay stateside and I go into the family business, I can make even more. And I won't be under the mic. Like, and again, to sort of to your point as well, not just totally disagreeing with it, but even if I go to Europe, I'm still Michael Jordan's son.
Yeah, no, very true.
Where can I go and what can I do that I can be Michael Jordan's son and make the most of this opportunity for myself, career-wise and success-wise?
Fashion.
It's doing exactly what he did.
I ain't mad at him. I would have went that route too.
Bro, like his daughter Jasmine went straight into the business, I believe, from college or whatever education she had. She's the mind, I want to say, behind some of the women designs that the Jordan and colorways and stuff that the Jordan brand has come up with. She's been, I don't know if she's the head of that. I don't think so. But I know I read something about her being involved with it, and she had a hand in like some of that.
Yeah, because when it comes to, I know when it comes to like the Jordan brand, Nike owns more of it than Jordan actually does. Because he sold a lot of it to Nike. But the kids now have jobs where they're ahead of creative a little, and their hands are in on a lot of the stuff that's being made.
Right, right.
Especially more Marcus, I believe, than Jasmine. But even within that, it's still, you know, great that they're in on that because it helps keep the Jordan name alive and going forward. That at least somebody in the family is attached to it. So
right. Luka is acting a damn fool. Luka got 20 points and it's still 4:23 left in the first quarter.
Bro, him and somebody else was going crazy in the first quarter tonight, and then
he only missed one shot so far. Luka has. Let me see.
It was Colin Sexton at first, but then he slowed down now because he had like 16 in the first. I don't think he scored too much in the second. And now he got 18 in the third.
Hell, where's that game at? Oh, okay. I see it. They playing the Wizards.
Yeah.
He got 18 now. So yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Jordan Poole about to sell me, and it's about to piss me off now.
What you got him for tonight?
15 and a half. So 16.
Oh shit.
And he only has 2.
What?
And we're in the third quarter. He's about to sell the fuck out of me. And
okay. Sar is going off with like 22 right now. Poole
I don't know.
Have to be a part of that comeback, dog.
He might. I never pick Sar for whatever reason. I don't. I pick some wild stuff on all these, but it's I do this to myself every time. Don't laugh, Dre. Sports betting is a bad addiction.
Look. Like Dre, a couple of other guys. I gotta get Brandon on the pod one day. One of the
has he fallen? He's been very inconsistent. I don't know if I want to use the word falling off just yet.
Okay, I'll say this. I will say inconsistent with it. I can see where he's coming from with it because you look at how had he just shut the fuck up and did what he had to do, he was going to replace Clay.
Yes.
And then he just couldn't shut up. He couldn't shut up. But, I mean, he's from that breakout season in 21-22 with the Warriors when he went from 12 to 18 and a half points a game. Then the next year he averaged 20 with Golden State. Last year with Washington, he only averaged 17, but this year he's back up to 20, almost 21 a game.
And that's mostly because he's had some big games.
Yes.
Because he's had a lot of games like what we're seeing tonight where he's only scored 2 to 5. But he's had those really huge 30-point games. And maybe a 40 here or there.
Yeah.
That's made those numbers kind of.
But wait, this is what I'm getting at, though. While his field goal percentage is still shit, His 3-point percentage is at a career high 37.7.
Oh, he gonna put that bitch up. Oh,
But he hitting it this year though.
Oh,
like
he
last year he was at 32.6. The year before that last year with Golden State, he was at 33.6. But the 2 years before, when he first averaged double digits in 2020 and 2021, he was at 35. Then 21-22, he was at 36. The next 2 years, he took a dip. Now this year, he's back up to 37.7. That 3-point percentage is his shot, because obviously it ain't the other field goals, because the brother only shooting 42% from the field. When your field goal percentage is damn near the same as your 3-point percentage, that's a problem.
Yep.
But so that's another reason why I'll agree with Keyz, and I can't just say he's just fell off. But it's just the stardom, I'll say. The shine on his star has been greatly relinquished, because he couldn't shut the fuck up and got shipped off to Timbuktu.
Could not
of
shut
the
the
NBA.
fuck up.
And so that's where we at with it right now. But
he better have an amazing fourth quarter, goddammit.
Bruh.
They in Washington? No, they in Utah tonight. He lucky. I drive up to Washington.
Be waiting for him outside the tunnel.
Right outside the tunnel. Hey, brother, let me holler at you real quick.
Hey, I need to talk to you about something.
Hey, brother, you want to Zelle me or cash out me this parlay that you just fucked up?
Because look, if you just send me a stack right now, I'll consider it even, because you just cost me 5. So if you just send me a stack, we'll consider it even.
Double that, man. Send me a K and we even. We ain't got to talk about it no more. That's it, man.
I ain't even going to drive up here no more. Promise.
Matter of fact, throw me an extra 20 for gas. I ain't taking my gas out of what you owe me.
I want what you owe me and gas money for having to drive over here to collect it.
Let me tell you something. That's literally how you get your money from a nigga too. I need what you owe me, plus I need gas because I had to get up out the bed to drive over here.
With me, bro. Hey, I need to go back, because every so often I go back and I'll watch like Raw, Delirious. I've even gone back and watched that one where Richard Pryor was in.
I love that one. I love that one.
There's another.
Red Fox has one that I love too.
Oh shit, him. Bro, one of the funniest ones that I really started. And
I hate to say this because of who he is, but now Bill Cosby has a couple from the 70s that I go back and watch.
Wait, Bill Cosby,
even movies.
Dick Gregory.
Yep.
But
I love a lot of those old comedians, man, from the 70s and 80s.
Paul Mooney, who used to write for a lot of these guys back in the day. Bro, when I learned who all Paul Mooney actually used to write, I was like, what the? Like, I was like, this.
Hey, bro, I hate to use this comparison, but he's like the Soldier Boy of that, because Soldier Boy has wrote for a lot of people. George Wallace.
Another one. Thank you, bro. Dre. Another.
GW is funny as
appreciate
fuck,
you, dog.
Bro.
Appreciate you, because he
Young Bernie, Young Steve Harvey, and this is before the Kings of Comedy. I'm talking about young.
When them boys used to be like
Cedric. Hey, Cedric the Entertainer. When DL actually was funny,
when he used to host Comic View on BET.
It's a lot of even if you go back and look at a lot of those comics from Comic View back then, oh my god, that's where it was the who's who.
Michael Blackson,
Ronaldo.
That's where
Ronaldo Ray is another one.
Yeah.
Also, Francisco.
Yeah. Dude, that was another thing that shocked me when I heard that. I was like, wait, what? This nigga
also
for Richard?
What's his name from Baby Kids?
No,
the dad from
Robin Harris.
That's not right. Yeah, Robin Harris. Yeah, Robin Harris is funny as shit too,
bruh. When I saw it was Ronaldo Ray and Friday, I was like, oh shit,
Ronaldo Ray is hilarious.
They had Ronaldo Ray, Don DC Curry, and John Witherspoon as the dads in Friday. Like, bruh, come on, bruh. And then Bernie Mac was the freaky pastor.
Hey, bro,
like, come on, bro. Faison Love was Big Worm.
There is so many
Bruh,
comedians
come
from the night.
on, dog.
And I always say, like, a lot of them could not survive in today's world because they
Hell
were
no.
just because they could talk about any and everything,
But here's one thing that I will
but
say
they
about
also wouldn't give a fuck. So
exactly the two things can be true at the same time. Some of them may not have survived, but I think some of them were so talented they would have just adapted.
oh yeah, they would have found a way
I
around
think
it.
I think some of them would have definitely adapted to today's society, the changes and everything. I think a lot of some of them would have really adapted. What's up, Big Perm?
Damn, Jalen
I would
Williams went crazy tonight.
You know what? I'm gonna check this other streaming device or thing or whatever that I have and see if I can find some BET comic views.
I'm gonna definitely you can some of it you should still be able to look up on YouTube too, like full episodes.
Oh, you right.
Because
You
if you got like the BET Plus app, it only gives you like the newer comic view. It doesn't give you like
it doesn't
the
give
90s.
you the old ones.
Yeah.
And see, that's the ones like Sierra was talking about, man. Like the
Early
original
episodes.
bro. We need that, man. It's just like I gotta see if I still have access to HBO Max, but Def Comedy Jam back in the day,
Oh my god,
BET
same
Comic
thing.
View, bro. I'm talking about that's where I first heard of Cheryl Underwood was on Def Comedy Jam. Joe Torre. I used to hear Joe Torre on Comic View and Def
Joe
Comedy
and Guy.
Jam, man. Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
Shit, that's when I first learned fucking Chris Rock had a brother, Tony.
Oh yeah, Tony's funny. Tony was funny.
Like, wait a minute, this nigga got a brother and he funny too?
Yeah. I mean, that's just like Eddie and Charlie. A lot of people, unless you knew,
bro.
People ain't know Charlie was his brother and he was just as fucking talented.
I met Charlie Murphy when he came here some years ago. I know it had to be at least 10, maybe 15 years ago because I was still married at the time. And we got to take pictures, and I think I still got the autographed DVD because I kept the DVD collection in divorce. But I think I still had an autographed DVD from him. Whatever it was that he did, he autographed it, and we took pictures because my homeboy was one of his openers, or he was on the lineup that night. And he was like, "Hey, just buy you a GA ticket." He was like, "But I'll be able to get you to meet Charlie Murphy. I'll get you and the wife to have a picture and autograph, whatever, with Charlie Murphy." I was like, "Okay, bet." So we in the little thing after the show or whatever, and we talking to my homeboy, John Gard, funny motherfucker. He's back doing comedy out there in LA. So y'all go check him out. I gotta repost this shit on IG. I gotta remember to do that because I forgot to post it on my stories. But him and my little cousin, I tried to link them up so they could help because my little cousin trying to get into comedy and acting and stuff out there. But anyway, he brought us over. He was like, "Hey Charlie, this is my good friend Jermaine. This is his wife. I just wanted to bring him over to meet you. They came out to see us, blah, blah, blah." Dude was like, "Hey man, what's happening, man?" Bruh, gave that "Hey man, let me get y'all autograph, take y'all pictures and stuff, man. Y'all enjoyed the show." Bro was cool as fuck. Mind you, everybody else has paid for the little meet and greet thing. He treated us just like we paid for the fucking meet and greet. That is what stuck with me about Charlie. It wasn't just that this nigga was Eddie Murphy's brother, and it wasn't just that he was funny on his own. It was that when I met this man, he has a people that's paying for meet and greets, but he treated us, the friend of a comic who's on the come up, who was just one of his openers in Houston randomly. He treated us like we paid for a meet and greet, and like he talked to us, looked us in the eyes, shook our hands, and everything. And that's what always stuck with me. And that's why I was like, I'm not just gonna support this nigga because he's Eddie's brother. I'm not just gonna support this nigga because he's funny. I'm gonna support him because he's a real nigga. Like he that cool to where he treated you just like he treated everybody else. And I when I see celebrities or whatever that's that cool in person, when you actually meet them and be around them or whatever, those are the kind of people that I really like to fuck with. And he was definitely one of those kind of people. So R.I.P. to Charlie Murphy, man, because he was definitely a real. Oh, Nat X, the super black militant Chris Rock character. That was funny. Charlie, the many stories on him and how people were scared of him because they owed him drugs. Look, I'm gonna put it to you like this here.
Allegedly.
Thank you. Air quotes, allegedly, Sierra, allegedly. But I put it to you like this. I didn't really know. I heard rumors about that kind of stuff. Seeing him on Chappelle's show and everything, it was like, maybe that stuff is true. When I met him in person and how he has that little voice and that inflection, how he would talk, I was like, he is a street nigga. I could tell just by the way you talk, because you talk like this all the time. Like you really are from this. Like, yeah, you did that shit. Charlie admitted to those stories. So did Rick James. Wait, no, but that's what I'm saying, Sierra. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't realize how much of that shit was true and how much of that was put on until like a little after like kind of during Chappelle's show, but then a little after Chappelle's show. It was around that time when that happened, and it was like, no, that nigga was really like that. Like, people really owed him money and stuff. Like, and I want to say it was maybe like 5 or so something years after Chappelle's show went off air or whatever is when he came to town and I met him. And by that time, it was like, everybody knew. But like in between time, before I actually met him and like saw whatever, I was like, yeah, he probably is. But seeing him, talking to him up close, nah, he was, I can see it's just some, like, bro, you know this from where you grew up at and people you've seen and been around and whatever. Like, when you meet certain people and they live certain lifestyles, they give off a certain vibe or aura.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how far removed they are from that or how much they've changed their life or whatever, they always have that same vibe or aura. That was him. That was him. Definitely. See, look, like this one, bruh. Because look,
Charlie definitely had that aura.
When he came here and stuff, that's why Dre said, where he put it. Yeah, he said he never forgive himself for not seeing him before he passed, because Charlie was like let's say Eddie was The Rock, right? He was the one who got all the praise and everybody was like, yeah, he's the best and he's the greatest. He's this big superstar and all this other shit, right? Charlie is like Dolph Ziggler. He's a great wrestler. Everybody loves him. He can make anybody look good. He can perform in the ring. He can cut a good promo and all that. He just doesn't get the recognition and everything that The Rock gets, because The Rock is The Rock. But you got Charlie Murphy over here, who's Mr. Consistent, who can do it all the time, who can do some of the same things, just doesn't get the level of attention and everything because he's not, this statuesque figure or whatever. That to me is like how I see like different people like that, because you got like you got players like in certain leagues and whatnot that you see that command that respect from their peers, that they feel like this guy is a top guy, or I hate guarding this guy, or I hate when this guy guards me or whatever, like in the NBA, or if it's a corner DB matchup or wide receiver matchup or whatever. But then you got those guys where it's like they're widely recognized as this superstar and everything because they have this fame and this cult following and they get picked for the Pro Bowls and everything. And that's just like if you're looking at like let's just take Derek Stingley Jr., J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain the second, right? Those guys just all got the big contracts and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you got old boy from Kansas City, McDuffie, an All-Pro twice already. He's going to be due up for a contract. But you don't hear people talking about McDuffie the way they talk about Horn and Surtain and Sauce Gardner and Stingley. He gets mentioned, but it's
a
not in the
conversation.
same thing. You see what I'm saying? That to me is what I see.
There's a conversation about Sauce we got to have at some point too.
we're gonna have that conversation definitely. It's
I
a
might be
lot of
wrong,
stuff
but
we got on the back burner. I gotta go back to the list of other pods and stuff, topics and whatnot. But that definitely is a conversation that we're gonna
hopefully, like what I think, I'm hoping he changes my mind this season.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to it.
We'll definitely get to it because I know, like, I put it to you like this here. I was always
Put it down.
I was always under the impression that, like, I had to make sure I put the music bed in go because sometimes I think hey, yeah,
Put it down. Put it down.
you're not smoking like you drive a truck, you're not bad.
You just said Charlie was fall of rock.
Maybe his diabetes was acting up and he fell out of his truck again. Inside joke. And I know he gonna text me. Inside joke because I had to fuck with him one time. Anyway.
That's crazy.
Look, he laughing because he know what I'm talking about.
That's crazy.
Hey, but nah, man. It's just we're gonna definitely have to have some of them conversations because there's a few different athletes that I have to write down under that we need to have a conversation banner that we get
it might be that time. We might have to create a segment for that.
I'm about to go into the app and refresh that page, and there's Sauce Gardner is gonna be one of those athletes on that list, but I'm gonna share that one with you too, and I'm gonna send it to y'all so y'all can let me know if y'all see anybody else we need to have conversations about.
Definitely,
because we coming up on the down period in sports. And so we're going to need to start bringing up them topics and whatnot and start talking about this stuff. I know NIL was one big thing and it's growing bigger.
Yeah.
And there's a few other things and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. We got stuff coming.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it interesting.
Episode 69.
Hey! Episode 69, we got stuff coming.
I'm tired, damn it. I got to get to bed. We old,
dog. You got to stop. Bruh, Dre be sending us pictures in our group chat. This Negro wakes up and be driving trucks on the highway before the chickens get up. I'm like, dog.
Him and my pops, bro. My pops will wake up and call me at like, luckily I'd be at work, but it'd be like 3 a.m. He just be calling. I'm like, everything good? You know, with the situation going on, he can't call me at 3 a.m. because my mind and I'm like,
bruh, you automatically thinking like, oh shit.
It don't even be one, bro. He just like, what you doing? At work, what you doing? Nothing, just driving. That's it, just driving.
I was up early one morning tweeting or talking about something, and this fool replied to him like, hey, what you doing up? Like, man, I'm at work. Like, what? Wait a minute, dude. That place don't even open down there. I know where you be making runs. Are they even open right now? He's like, well, I gotta pick up the load to bring it there. This place open, so by the time I get there, they be open.
Yeah, that's how my pops see
it. That makes sense. I'm not gonna question you, but for Keyz, for all 100 and whatever of y'all that was listening tonight, appreciate y'all. Episode 69, Sucio Sports, presented by Gel Blasters and Inplay Dogs. Inplay Dogs, Gel Blasters. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us tonight. Yes, they are paying you very well. And all you got to do is the same runs and stuff. And I love that for you.
Episode 69.
Episode 69.
Make sure y'all, never mind.
I'm going to end it on this.
Never mind.
Episode 69.
Different pod.
Sports.
We talk sports.
Y'all go out there. Be givers. Don't be
okay.
takers.
Since he said it.
Hey.
However you want to.
Which one do y'all prefer? Because I like